Here's Mike. This is freaking incredible. You know, in this post-Prop 8 world, we've got Jacob, who can get 5,000 people marching around Temple Square the week that Prop 8 went down. We've got Eric and Elaine, who formed Pride in Your Community, that are shoveling sidewalks and delivering pumpkin bread to Senator Chris Butters. You know, we all have a part in this work. So thank you for being here in the rain. Thank you for making whatever sacrifice that you're making to be a part of this, because we are bringing change to the state of Utah. In 2004, when we were battling our own Proposition 8 in what was called Amendment 3, you know, at the beginning of that summer, we polled the state of Utah. The state of Utah, by 72%, said, we are not interested in gay marriage, so we are going to pass Amendment 3, so marriage is not an opportunity in the state of Utah. 7 months later, when George Bush won his second term by 72% in the state of Utah, his largest margin of victory of any of the 50 states, Utah only passed Amendment 3 by 68%. So we moved Utahns 4% over the course of this campaign cycle. Now that Amendment 3 still passed, and that still sucks, but what that means is Utahns are starting to pay attention. Utahns are starting to care. Utahns are starting to move out of bias into a place of compassion, into a place of movement. Now, this week, Equality Utah released our poll that says 70% of Utahns know someone that is gay or transgender. So, what that translates to, within the last 7 days, 3 different polls have come out. The Tribune poll, the D-News poll, the Equality Utah independently commissioned poll. Each of these polls say a majority of Utahns support equal rights on some issues for gay people. And so, when we stand on the grounds of the people's house, it's not the Utahns that we need, that we have anywhere from mid-50s to just over 60% of Utahns that are with us to say, yes, we support that. We need folks in that house to pay attention to the majority of Utahns that say, we think it's right that people receive protection in the workplace. We think it's right that people should not be discriminated against in housing. So we have a job as a community and our friends and our families and our allies to convince those people, because Utahns are paying attention to who we are and that our lives are meaningful and relevant. And you know, I'm tired of this conversation around marriage equality. We will continue to have the conversation because our families need that, the legal protections that come with that. We will continue to talk about marriage equality until we get enough of these Utahns to overturn Amendment 3. But in the meantime, I'm tired of legislators hiding behind Amendment 3 when we're talking about issues of discrimination. And they say, oh, the voters of Utah decided that with Amendment 3. No, they did not. Because the fact that a lesbian can be fired from her job has nothing to do with marriage. I'm tired of people hiding behind Amendment 3 because the fact that a transgender person is at risk of losing their home solely because they're transgender has nothing to do with marriage. You know what? Jacob is right. The most active, the most vibrant, the most exciting opportunities in the LGBT movement are happening in the state of Utah. No one across the country is doing the work that we as a community and our allies are doing today and for the next 45 days. And you know what? This Common Ground initiative is not a 45-day initiative. It is a movement because The majority of Utahns are with us. And so when the conservatives that hide behind Amendment 3 are saying, this is sacred ground, this is sacred ground. No, it's common ground. And we're going to continue to talk about it until you start to pay attention. And you know what? I am so proud of those that are active in the LDS faith that are standing up with us. Because throughout the Proposition 8 campaign, and again on November 5th, the LDS Church leadership says, we're not anti-gay. In fact, we don't object to rights such as hospitalization and medical care, fair housing and fair workplace, and probate rights. We're not anti-gay. We just want to preserve this traditional definition of marriage. So again, setting aside the issue of marriage, let's talk about these things you say you're not opposed to. And when you say you're not anti-gay, you know what? This community, our families that are actively involved in the LDS Church, all of our allies that are with us, the majority of Utahns that say they support these rights, we're waiting, LDS Church. We're waiting until your actions are consistent with your own words. Not what we're saying, but when you say that, we're watching and we're waiting for you to step up, for you to stand on this common ground with us until you do in Utah what you were doing in California when you asked all the members of your congregate or churches to get out and support Proposition 8. Well, if you say you're anti-gay and if you say that you don't object to these rights, then where is that same conviction? Where is that same action that propels congregants across the state of Utah to show up and tell those people in there, we want change now? So, we're not in this alone, and I know that, like Sean, I'm preaching to the choir. But you know what? It's not Equality Utah. It's not the 30-plus organizations that are part of the Common Ground Coalition. It's not the over 3,000 people that signed the Common Ground petition on our website. Each one of us have responsibility to make this change happen. So do your part. If it's shoveling sidewalks and baking bread with pride in your community, do that. If it's making signs at Cafe Marmalade for the next rally, do that. If it's coming into our office making Common Ground buttons, do that. If it's showing up on Wednesday for the P-Flag Lobby Day, do that. But do something to make a difference. Do something and do it now, because we have an opportunity like we have never had before. Like communities across the nation wish they had the poll numbers that we do. They wish they had the opportunity that we do. So let's take advantage of it and let's make a difference. So in 45 days from Monday, we can say we stood on common ground, people came along with us, and now we have statute to prove it and take care of our families. Thank you.
It's time to end government-sanctioned discrimination.